Vandeham Shri Guru Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurum
Hare Krishna everyone, welcome to the 54th episode of Paripraśna. So in this episode, we are super excited to begin a brand new journey. So we are starting Canto 4 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this particular canto has 31 amazing chapters covering broadly 4 different pastimes. To begin with, we are going to start off with Lord Shiva, Sati and Daksha Prajapati, the pastime that happens between them. What an exciting spiritual drama that is going to unfold. And then followed by Dhruva Maharaj's glorious pastime. And then after that, we will see about Prithu Maharaj's wonderful, unparalleled rule. And then towards the end, we will see the glorious devotion exhibited by Prachetas. So I am very, very excited to dive into all these divine pastimes. So our objective today is going to be to cover the first 2 chapters. So chapter 1, that is titled Genealogical Table of the Daughters of Manu. And then second chapter is titled Daksha Curses Lord Shiva. So as always, we are blessed and honored to have His Holiness Bhakti Padma Pracharak Swami Maharaj to help us dive deep into these pastimes and discover the gems of philosophy, the lessons that we can actually learn and implement in our own life. So we have a lot to cover. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start inquiring and learning from His Holiness Bhakti Padma Pracharak Swami Maharaj. So Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
So Maharaj, as I was going through this canto, right in the beginning, even before the table of content, introduction and all that, here it is given, 4th canto, the creation of the 4th order. So what is this creation of the 4th order, Maharaj?
The creation of the 4th order. Actually, I don't know how it came. It's a kind of a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Because originally when the BBT printed, they thought the first canto belongs the first subject matter of Bhagavatam, Sarga.
Okay.
Second canto is Visarga. Third canto is Sarga Visarga Sthana.
Mm-hmm.
And the 4th canto is the Poshana, like that.
Oh.
But actually it is not so. The 3rd canto is actually Sarga.
Mm-hmm.
And the second canto is Visarga. Sargo, Visarga, Sthana.
Mm-hmm.
And so the 4th canto is actually Visarga, the creation by Brahma.
Okay.
So the creation of the 4th order, you may think it as creation of Brahma,
Mm-hmm.
or the 4th subject matter of Bhagavatam.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it is creation of Brahma.
Mm-hmm.
If you interpret this creation of the 4th order as the creation by Brahma, then it fits into the entire subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
So the first 2 cantos, they talk of all the subject matters of Bhagavatam in not in detail, in a precise format.
Mm-hmm.
But the subject matters of Bhagavatam, Sarga, Visarga, Sthanam, Poshana, Uti, Manvantara, Ishanukata, Nirodho, Mukti, Ashraya. It starts from the 3rd canto.
Okay.
3rd canto is Sarga, 4th canto is Visarga.
Mm-hmm.
So forget about that creation of the 4th order. And just use that Sanskrit term, which is already used in the Bhagavatam.
Okay.
And then see, this now talks about Visarga.
Okay.
Creation by Brahma.
Mm-hmm. So Maharaj, Visarga has already started in 3rd canto itself, in that from 21st chapter, Swayambhuva Manu's dynasty, especially his second daughter Devahuti and her family life was described. So, and here of course the other daughters, Akuti, Prasuti, their daughters are also getting a very detailed description is given in chapter 1. So we'll begin with the very first shloka here, chapter 1, text 1. Maitreya Uvacha मनोस्तु शतरूपायां तिस्रः कन्याश्च जज्ञिरे आकूतिर्देवहूतिश्च प्रसूतिरिति विश्रुताः. Sri Maitreya said Swayambhuva Manu begot 3 daughters in his wife Shatarupa, and their names are Akuti, Devahuti, and Prasuti. So Maharaj, this chapter is titled Genealogical Table of the Daughters of Manu, and an exhaustive list of his 3 daughters, all their children. And then later Uttanapada, Priyavrata, their dynasty also, all the way up to 5th canto, 15th chapter, this is going to run. So we said Bhagavatam is filled with Krishna Katha and Krishna's devotees Katha, Vaishnava Katha. But however, so far and also in the near future, we see looks like Vaishnava Katha is far greater than Krishna Katha. So is there a reason for this?
Actually, they are non-different from each other,
Mhm.
but the Vaishnava Katha or the Bhagavata Katha, that means the devotees Katha, is more important in the sense that is the way you enter into the Bhagavad Katha. Like you see, the second canto is actually Bhagavad Katha. But how did you enter into that? Through the first canto. The first canto is full of Bhakta Katha.
Mhm.
That is why in the second canto itself it is described Bhagavad Katodarka. Bhakta Katha leads to Bhagavad Katha. Sushusho Shaddadhanasi Vasudeva Kataruchi. When you hear about a devotee or from a devotee, then Vasudeva Kataruchi manifests. So this is how you connect. In one sense, they are non-different. In another sense, Bhakta Katha is the gateway for the Bhagavad Katha. That is why there is a difference.
Okay. So now we will get into his first daughter, Swayambhuva Manu, and Shatarupa's first daughter, Akuti, and she is getting married to Prajapati Ruchi. So the second was here. Akutim ruchaye pradad api bhratrumati nrupaha putrika dharmam ashritya Shatarupa anumoditaha. Akuti had 2 brothers, but in spite of her brothers, King Swayambhuva Manu handed her over to Prajapati Ruchi on the condition that the son born of her be returned to Manu as his son. This he did in consultation with his wife Shatarupa. So it's quite interesting, Maharaj. Sometimes we see when a king does not have a son to carry on the kingship, then it is natural that if he has a daughter, then Prabhupada is writing, this is Putrika Dharma. Then the daughter, when she begets a son, she will give it to her father. But here, however, he already has 2 sons, Uttanapada and Priyavrata. Then why is Swayambhuva Manu putting this condition to Prajapati Ruchi that your firstborn son, you should give him to me?
Now, Manu is a Kshatriya, and Ruchi is a Rishi. Now, even in the recent times also, even till today, there is a system in Kerala that they give their daughter, the Kshatriyas give their daughters to the Brahmanas, and then the son born to them will be taken back as to rule the kingdom. Because this is the way you increase the quality of the population, the quality of the Kshatriyas. By the Simonical line of the Brahmanas, which is having a lot of dharma in it, the sanskara, the dharma in the Kshatriyas can increase. So this was a system, not only here, many parts of the world, this system is being followed. That is called the maternal line.
Okay.
Kerala, it is very much, even still today it is there. So the Brahmanas, they would be mostly interested in sense control, and they would be chanting the Vedas. They have a lot of powers. So because of that, when they unite with a Kshatriya girl, the son who is born will have a higher capacity of sense control, powers, etc. In that reason, that is the reason behind this thing. Even for even the cows and the bulls, the breeding happens. There is a breeding bull, which is of having good lakshanas. So that's very expensive. Sometimes the bulls would cost 30 lakh, 35 lakh rupees.
Oh, wow.
One bull they offered somebody offered 1 crore rupees for that bull, but still the farmer did not sell. It's a gear bull, which the pedigree goes back to 300, 400 years. The proper line is maintained. So that the calf which are born, the bulls which are born by mating with that bull would have a higher production of milk and higher capacity, etc. So this is called pedigree. That is very much known to people. It's not that you just get married to anyone and everyone and you can have the same quality of children. So they're very careful about this thing. So in this way, Manu wanted a son who will be having the genetics of a rishi, so that he can be having the power to rule and also have the sense control and the dharma to protect the citizens and not to misuse the power.
Very interesting. Okay. So in the third verse, I'll just read the translation. Ruchi, who was very powerful in his Brahminical qualifications and was appointed one of the progenitors of the living entities, begot one son and one daughter by his wife Akuti. Yastayo Purushas Sakshat Vishnur Yajna Swarupadhrit Yastri Sa Dakshina Bhuter Amsha Bhutana Payini. Of the two children born of Akuti, the male child was directly an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and his name was Yajna, which is another name of Lord Vishnu. The female child was a partial incarnation of Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, the eternal consort of Lord Vishnu. So Yajna is given to Swayambhuva Manu. Dakshina grows up with Ruchi and Akuti. But however, later Yajna marries Dakshina. They're both born to the same parents. How come then they are supposed to be brother and sister, but they eventually marry each other?
Yeah, that is why the shloka itself says that Purusha Sakshat Vishnur Yajna Swarupadrik. So Dakshina, Ya Stri Sa Dakshina Bhuter Amsha Bhuta Anupayini. Bhuta Anapayini. So Lakshmi was born as Dakshina, and the Lord appeared as Yajna. So they are eternally husband-wife.
Oh.
So their birth is actually not birth. They were just the manifestation of Lakshmi and Narayana. So they are eternally husband-wife. So there is no point in talking about how brother and sister get married.
Okay. So this is seen quite often. In fact, Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa also came from body of Brahma. So in that case also they married. Then Prutu and Archi, we will see they also come from the Anga when his body is churned, when they also get married. So such things keep happening quite often.
Yeah, but there is a difference between Swayambhu Manu getting married to his wife, because they appeared from the body of Brahma. They are not God. They appeared, they are jivas who appeared from the body of Brahma. So the production or the growth of population by the union of man and woman started after Swayambhu Manu.
Okay.
Before that, it was only Brahma just manifesting the living entities. So in this way, there is a distinction between Ruchi Dakshina getting married.
Okay. Yajna and Dakshina.
Sorry, Yajna and Dakshina getting married. And Swayambhu Manu and Why
Yeah.
getting married?
Okay, got it, Maharaj. So later, this Yajna and Dakshina, they have 12 boys, and all their names are given, and together they are called Tushitas. And in the 8th verse, I'll just quote the translation and a little bit of purport. During the time of Swayambhuva Manu, these sons all became the demigods, collectively named the Tushitas. Marichi became the head of the 7 rishis, and Yajna became the king of the demigods, Indra. And here in the purport, Prabhupada is highlighting something. During the life of Swayambhuva Manu, 6 kinds of living entities were generated from the demigods known as the Tushitas, from the sages headed by Marichi, and from descendants of Yajna, king of the demigods, and all of them expanded their progeny to observe the order of the Lord to fill the universe with living entities. So these 6 kinds of living entities are known as Manus, Devas, Manuputras, Amshavataras, Sureshwaras, and Rishis. Yajna, being the incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, became the leader of the demigods, Indra. So, Maharaj, in one of your lectures I had heard, I just pulled up that shloka. So, this is from 12th Canto, chapter 7, shloka 15. What Prabhupada is writing here, the shloka is quoted here. Manvantaram Manurdeva Manuputra Sureshwarah Prishayom Shavatarascha Hare Shadvidham Uchyate. So, who are these 6 kinds of beings, Maharaj, presiding? And Yajna is actually Sureshwaraha, and he is also multitasking. He is also the Amshavatara during Swayambhuva Manu, who is the first Manu.
So in every Manu, there are 6 categories of people who take charge of the entire maintenance of the creation. Who are they? Number 1 is Manu himself. Number 2, the Devatas, the chief Devatas, and the sons of Manu, Indra, and the Saptarishis, and the partial incarnation of the Lord, who is Manvantara Avatar. So in every Manu, there is a lot of change. Indra changes, Manu changes, Manvant, and another Lord incarnates, helping the Manu. The major Devatas change. Of course, there's some Devatas who don't change, like Surya, he doesn't change. It's like a post. So these are the posts which are occupied by different people at every Manvantara, every 71 Chaturyugas. There is a change of all these positions. Their post is only till 71 Manvantaras, 71 Chaturyugas.
Okay. So now Maitreya Muni starts talking about Devahuti and Kardama's 9 daughters. So of course in the 3rd canto we have talked about their son Kapila Dev, the Lord himself, and a very elaborate discussion between Devahuti and Kapila. And now these 9 daughters, I'll just quickly read them out. So 9 daughters, Kala married Marichi, and they had 2 sons, Kashyapa and Purnima, and then Purnima begot 2 sons, like that it continues. Then Anasuya married Atri Rishi. I'll come back to this episode. Shraddha married Angira Rishi. Havirbhu married Pulatsya Rishi. And interestingly, from Havirbhu, Pulatsya, 2 sons, Agastya and Vishrava came. And Vishrava had 2 wives, Idavida and Keshini. And in fact, from Vishrava and Idavida came Kuvera, Vishrava and Keshini, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Vibhishana came. So their lineage is coming from there. Then the 5th daughter, Gati, she married Pulaharishi. Kriya married Kratu. Urja or Arundhati, she married Vasishta, and they gave birth to 7 great sages. And then Chitti or Shanti, she married Atharva Rishi. And then Khyati married Bhrugumuni, and from them also they had so many children. So do you want to say anything about this, Maharaj, the 9 daughters marrying all such great rishis and their own families, so many descendants?
Yeah, practically the whole Bhagavatam is based on, all the Puranas are based on their children.
Yes.
Prajapati, you have to fill the universe, and all kinds of people are born from them. Nothing much to say about it.
Okay. So Maharaj, however, I want to take a little dive into Anasuya and Atri's life, which Vidura is also wanting to go into a little elaboration here. So I'll just jump to that shloka here, verse number 20. So we see that Anasuya married Atri, and they both of them performed such intense austerity. In fact, Atri Rishi, he's standing on one leg, and for 100 years he's performing such intense tapasya. This fire is coming on top of his head. So continuing from there, sloka number 20. He was thinking, may the Lord of the universe, of whom I have taken shelter, kindly be pleased to offer me a son exactly like him. So in the purport, right in the first sentence, Prabhupada is writing, it appears that the great sage Atri Muni had no specific idea of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So how come such a great Rishi, he is doing such intense tapasya, but however, he has no idea who the Supreme Lord is? How can this be?
The sentence says that it appears.
Mhm.
It appears. But Atri Muni is Atreya, he is beyond the three modes of nature.
Mhm.
And he asked that I want a son who is similar to the Supreme Lord. He may give me a son equal to him.
Mhm.
Sharanam tam prapadyeham ya eva jagadishwaraha prajam atma samam mayhim. So he was asking a son who is atma samam,
Mhm.
who is equal to Supreme Lord. So he did not ask that you, Lord, you should personally come and appear in front of me.
Mhm.
So in this way, you know that Patri Muni, he has an idea of who is the Supreme Lord. But for the purpose of pastime, for Dattatreya to appear, then this kind of moha is created in his mind.
Mhm.
But Atri is not an ordinary person because Lord Ramachandra,
Mhm.
he came to Atri Anusya's ashram before he went for the Andakaranya forest.
Mhm.
And Atri had a clear-cut understanding of who is Supreme Lord.
Mhm.
But for the purpose of the pastime, like Arjuna was put into illusion so that Bhagavad Gita can be revealed.
Mhm.
The same way, for the purpose of the pastime, this was done
Mhm.
by the Supreme Lord. And he asked such a boon that Dattatreya could appear.
Mhm.
That is the only purpose.
Okay. Maybe along the same lines, in terms of what you are explaining, in the same purport, Prabhupada highlights another very subtle aspect. He's saying in the middle of the purport, Atri Muni wanted a son exactly like the Lord, and therefore he is not supposed to have been a pure devotee because he had a desire to be fulfilled, and that desire was material. And right before that, Prabhupada is talking about how in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about four kinds of people approaching him. And then he also goes on to say, although he wanted a son exactly like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this desire was material because he did not want the personality of Godhead himself, but only a child exactly like him. You want to say something on this,
Yes,
Maharaj? Yeah.
that is what I told. He
Mhm.
was put into illusion by
Mhm.
Supreme Lord so that Dattatreya can appear.
Okay. Okay. So jumping to the 26th and 27th verse after his intense tapasya, then what happens? So then actually Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, all three appear, and then he is praying to them. Atri Muni is speaking. So I'll just read the translation of verses 26 and 27. But since his heart was already attracted by the deity, somehow or other he gathered his senses and with folded hands and sweet words he began to offer prayers to the predominating deities of the universe. The great sage Atri said, O Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, you have divided yourself into three bodies by accepting the three modes of material nature, as you do in every millennium for the creation, maintenance, and dissolution of the cosmic manifestation. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all of you and beg to inquire whom of you three I have called by my prayer. So, Maharaj, one thing is, why does he say here that you have accepted the three modes of material nature? Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva have not accepted the modes of nature. They are the controllers of the material nature. That is one thing. And why is he confused, or does he apparently seem to be confused? whom of you three I have called by my prayer? He's asking them only.
So, this statement, what he's saying, he's talking about expressing his ignorance about the supremacy of Vishnu.
Mhm.
So, and those who are ignorant about the supremacy of Vishnu, they think all three are the same.
Mhm.
Actually, though Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, all of them appeared, Brahma and Lord Shiva, they have a material body, and Vishnu has a transcendental body.
Mhm.
Mm. Then the purpose of asking this question is that I called for the Supreme Lord. Why all three came?
Okay.
Why all three came?
Mm.
So now remove my doubt. By removing my doubt, you are going to remove everybody's doubt who
Mm.
think all three are the same.
Mm.
Trinity, the concept of Trinity,
Mhm.
that is, the Hindus worship three gods. It's a wrong concept.
Mm.
So that concept he wants to clear by asking this question. Hmm? That's what is the purpose of his asking this question. That he wants clarity for himself. By asking clarity for himself,
Mm.
he is making everybody's mind clear who has this kind of doubt that
Mhm.
all three are same or they are three different gods.
Mhm. This is quite revealing, Maharaj. See, when I was reading in preparation for this episode, right, when I read such things along with Prabhupada's purport, so I would have thought, okay, Atri Muni is not a pure devotee. So, okay, he's asking such questions. He didn't know. I was thinking, okay, like just like Gajendra was praying, even he used a lot of adjectives, but it seemed like he didn't know exactly who was the Supreme Lord. It's like, to whomsoever it may concern, please come, kind of a thing. So I was drawing parallels with that. So maybe Atri Muni also doesn't know, and he's calling, and Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, they all three came. But when I'm hearing from you, right, how you always keep such exalted personalities at a high esteem. So now after I hear from you, it's like, okay, we see when we read or hear about such great personalities, we should understand they're not doing it just for themselves, but to set an example for mere mortals like us. So this is time and again this comes up. When I hear from you, then again I have such esteemed high reverence for such great personalities, how we should actually look at them. So
Yeah, the Bhagavatam is full of glorifications of three personalities, three things: the Supreme Lord, Bhakta, and Bhakti.
mhm.
So in every verse of Bhagavatam, you need to see Bhakti, you need to see Krishna's glory, you need to see devotee's glory.
Mm.
Like for example, in the seventh canto of Bhagavatam, Satyam Vidatum Nijavritya Bhasitam. Most of the people think that Narasimha appeared to make Prahlad words truth. But Srila Vishwanath Thakur says, Narasimha appeared to make the words of Hiranyakashipu true.
Wow.
Every verse had to be explained, keeping this primary objective in mind. That is, Bhagavatam glorifies Krishna,
Mhm.
Bhagavatam glorifies devotee, and Bhagavatam glorifies Bhakti. Bhagavan, Bhakta, Bhakti. These are the three eternal things.
Mhm.
And all the three things are glorified in Bhagavatam. Even though externally you will find there are certain verses which are uh, not glorifying these three in one sense,
Mhm.
but you have to keep the primary objective and then explain those verses.
Okay.
Primary objective of Bhagavatam is to glorify Krishna, devotee, Bhagavan, Bhakta, and Bhakti. In every verse, Prema Varshi Aksharayate. In every word, in every Akshara, there is Krishna Prema.
Mm.
That has to be seen.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you for that, Maharaj. Always course correcting and elevating our thought process. So in the 47th verse, a quick Falashruti is given here. So my dear Vidura, the population of the universe was thus increased by the descendants of these sages and the daughters of Kardama. Anyone who hears the descriptions of this tenacity with faith will be relieved from all sinful reactions. Another of Manu's daughters, known as Prasuti, married the son of Brahma named Daksha. So now again switching gears, we've talked about Akuti and Ruchi, and we talked about Devahuti and Kardama, and now Prasuti and Daksha Prajapati. So Maharaj, here it is said that Daksha begot 16 very beautiful daughters with lotus-like eyes in his wife Prasuti. Of these 16 daughters, 13 were given in marriage to Dharma, and one daughter was given to Agni. Like this, it will continue. However, I want to focus a little bit more on this cluster of shlokas 49 to 52. In the interest of time, I'll just read the translation. One of the remaining two daughters were given in charity to Pitraloka, where she resides very amicably, and the other was given to Lord Shiva, who is the deliverer of sinful persons from material entanglement. The names of the 13 daughters of Daksha who were given to Dharma are Shraddha, Maitri, Daya, Shanti, Tushti, Pushti, Kriya, Unnati, Buddhi, Medha, Titiksha, Hri, and Murti. Now, this portion here. These 13 daughters produced the following sons. So Shraddha along with Dharma gave birth to Shubha. Maitri and Dharma produced Prasada. Daya gave birth to Abhaya. Shanti gave birth to Sukha. Tushti gave birth to Muda. Pushti gave birth to Smaya. Kriya gave birth to Yoga. Unnati gave birth to Darpa. Buddhi gave birth to Artha. Medha gave birth to Smriti. Titiksha gave birth to Kshema. And Hri gave birth to Prashraya. Murti, a reservoir of all respectable qualities, gave birth to Sri Naranarayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Maharaj, this whole section, these 13 daughters, along with their husband Dharma, all the children they produced, yes, this is literally they must have had these children, but it seems symbolic also, like Shraddha and Dharma giving birth to Shubha, auspiciousness. Maitri and Dharma producing Prasada. Daya and Dharma giving birth to Abhaya. Even in our life, when we have these two qualities come together, this is the result consequence. So, is there a symbolic meaning also in addition to the actual children they produced?
The symbolic things are because of their marriage and their they producing children.
Okay.
So everything in this world has a person who is in charge of it. So you have quality called Daya. So the quality of Daya is personified with a person at different levels. At one level, they are the humans like this, or great elevated humans who are in charge of these particular qualities. Because they are also higher controllers of these qualities.
Okay.
So in this way, they are not just symbolic. Number one, they are not symbolic. These are how the Western and the modern philosophers perceive as. They say these past times never happened. They never got married. And they are just only symbolics. These are some. And number two, another kind of ignorance is that these things have a symbolism. The past time has happened, and they have a symbolism. Instead of using the word they are having a symbolism, you use the word that they are the presiding deities at a particular level of these qualities.
Okay, got it. So especially this Naranarayana Rishi, they are glorified like anything. In fact, the Devatas, they also come and offer prayers at the appearance of Naranarayana Rishi. And here in the 59th verse, it is said that Naranarayana Rishi, who is a partial expansion of Krishna, has now appeared in the dynasties of Yadu and Kuru in the forms of Krishna and Arjuna respectively to mitigate the burden of the world. So can you say something about this, Maharaj? Naranarayana Rishi coming as Krishna and Arjuna?
Yeah, Narana and Rishi are actually Krishna and Arjuna. They are partial incarnations of Krishna and Arjuna.
Okay. So it's only Narana.
The whole purpose of appearance of Narana and Rishi So the many purposes are there. The purpose is to kill one demon called Sahasra Kavacha. And he had 1,000 kavachas. And he had got a boon that a person who has done tapasya for 1,000 years, only he can pierce one kavacha.
Okay.
And then to pierce another kavacha, then he has to go and perform another 1,000 years of tapasya. By the time he comes back, another kavacha which has been pierced that becomes appears again. So now how is it going to happen? So it only happens when there are two people who are fighting for 1,000 years. So first, what happened? Narayana, he did tapasya for 1,000 years. And then fought with Sahasra Kavacha for 1,000 years. By doing so, he destroyed one Kavacha. By the time Nara, he performed 1,000 years of tapasya and then he fought with Sahasra Kavacha.
Okay.
The second Kavacha was destroyed. By the time the third Kavacha was destroyed by Narayana, fourth by Nara. It went on and became 999, and 999th Kavacha was destroyed by Narayana. And that time, what happened? The Sahasra Kavacha went into Surya Mandala. He thought, I'm going to die. So then the same Naranarayana, they appeared as Krishna Arjuna, actually the reverse way. Krishna Arjuna only appeared as Naranarayana, and now they appeared in their original forms to kill that Sahasra Kavacha, who appeared as Karna.
Oh, okay.
Karna appeared from the sun planet. So this Karna appeared as with the Kavacha.
Yes.
And that Kavacha had to be destroyed by whom?
Krishna.
Now?
Krishna.
By Nara.
Yeah.
1,020 people on Nara. So then Krishna told Arjuna, you shoot an arrow. So that's the story. Yeah.
Fascinating, connecting the dots. Interesting. So next we see Swaha. So she married Agni. So is this why we keep telling when we do the fire sacrifice Swaha, Swaha, and they had 45 children?
Yes, Swaha is the wife of Agni. That's why we say Swaha.
Okay. So they had two children. No, actually from these three sons, another 45 descendants were generated who are also fire gods. So the total number of fire gods is therefore 49, including the fathers and the grandfather. So 49 different types of Agni Devatas.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally, in the end, the 16th daughter, Sati, so she becomes a pivotal character personality in the next several chapters. So in the 65th verse, it is said, the 16th daughter, whose name was Sati, was the wife of Lord Shiva. She could not produce a child, although she always faithfully engaged in the service of her husband. And the reason is that Sati's father, Daksha, used to rebuke Lord Shiva in spite of Shiva's faultlessness. Consequently, before attaining a mature age, Sati gave up her body by dint of yogic mystic power. So Maharaj, of course, this episode will come again in detail how Sati will self-immolate herself, give up her body. Is this why the system was called Sati, where the wife entered the funeral pyre of the husband?
Yes. Same Sati.
Oh, it's coming from her. Okay. So now Maharaj, transitioning into the next chapter, I really like how Vidura catches these really nice points at good segues and asks questions to take Maitreya Rishi in very, very interesting directions. So chapter 2 is starting with Vidura's questions. Vidura uvacha bhave shilavatam shresthe daksho duhitravatsalah vidvesham makarot kasmad anadrityatmajam satim. Vidura inquired, why was Daksha, who was so affectionate towards his daughter, envious of Lord Shiva, who is the best among the gentle, why did he neglect his daughter Sati? Lord Shiva, the spiritual master of the entire world, is free from enmity, is a peaceful personality, and is always satisfied in himself. He is the greatest among the demigods. How is it possible that Daksha could be inimical towards such an auspicious personality? My dear Maitreya, to part with one's life is very difficult. Would you kindly explain to me how such a son in law and father in law could quarrel so bitterly that the great goddess Sati could give up her life. So Maharaj, when he asked this father-in-law, son-in-law quarreling, it seems like another family quarrel, but however, this is not. This is really a divine quarrel. So if you can say, before we get into this whole episode, just Vidura, how he is not accusing Daksha, he is not assuming, he is not being judgmental, but sheer curiosity, the way he is asking the questions. If you can say something about Vidura's questions before the whole episode is going to unfold.
So the verse says, Etat Akya Hime Brahman Jamatuhu Svashurasya Cha Vidveshaha Tu Yata Pranans Tyajye Dustyajan Sati. So now here, when the question was asked, is explained about the hatred by which she gave her life. Yataha, from which hatred. Now, when a person hates other person, it is perceived as that both are hating each other. Though there was no hatred in the heart of Lord Shiva towards Daksha. There is no hatred in the heart of Lord Shiva to Daksha. But it is perceived so. So whenever there is a quarrel, people know they are quarreling. But actually one person is not quarreling.
Yeah.
Other person is only quarreling. So here Daksha is the person who is actually having hatred. Lord Shiva has no hatred. But it is perceived so. It is spoken like that. That is why when somebody hates you, then be away from him. Otherwise, people perceive that you also have the same hatred. And Lord Shiva knew this very well. That is why Lord Shiva just left. When Daksha expressed his hatred, he just kept quiet and left. Because you will be also perceived that you are also in the same category.
Yeah. Okay. So actually there are so many lessons, really. So we'll just get into it. So we'll just set the scene. So Maitreya Uvacha Pura Vishwasrajam Satre Sametav Paramarshayah Tathamaragana Sarve Sanugamuna Yognayah. The sage Maitreya said, in a former time, the leaders of the universal creation performed a great sacrifice in which all the great sages, philosophers, demigods, and fire gods assembled with their followers. When Daksha, the leader of the Prajapatis, entered that assembly, his personal bodily luster as bright as the effulgence of the sun, the entire assembly was illuminated, and all the assembled personalities became insignificant in his presence. Influenced by his personal bodily luster, all the fire gods and other participants in that great assembly, with the exceptions of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, gave up their own sitting places and stood in respect for Daksha. Daksha was adequately welcomed by the president of the great assembly, Lord Brahma. After offering Lord Brahma respect, Daksha, by the order of Brahma, properly took his seat. Before taking his seat, however, Daksha was very much offended to see Lord Shiva sitting and not showing him any respect. At that time, Daksha became greatly angry, and his eyes glowing, he began to speak very strongly against Lord Shiva. So before actually all the blasphemy that's going to come in this chapter, so Maharaj, this need for puja, pratishtha, labha. So Daksha is not an ordinary personality. Here it is said he's a great personality. In fact, his bodily effulgence itself is so great that everybody seemed insignificant in front of him, and they all stood up except for Brahma and Shiva. So, such a great personality. He seems like quite pious. He is doing so much sacrifice, this, that, so many things. He's a Prajapati, and in fact, his name is Daksha, expert. So, why is he called Daksha? What is he expert in? And number two, in spite of being such a great personality, everybody is showing him respect. Okay, Lord Brahma didn't get up, he's his own father, that's fine. He offered him adequate welcome and all that. One person not getting up, to us, it seems like it's not a big deal. But however, it is said he was very much offended by this. So why is this? What is this need for honor for such a great personality?
So that's called mode of ignorance. The whole pastime is to depict a devotee in mode of ignorance.
Mm.
So devotee in mode of ignorance has these qualities as been discussed in the previous canto, third canto, when Kapila, he talks to the Devi that the qualities of a person in mode of ignorance may be devotee, but still being influenced in mode of ignorance, he has this pride. So the pride makes a person suffer like anything, because Jesus cannot tolerate being disrespected. In spite of so much of respect he received from everyone, one person disrespecting him, he thought that is an insult for me. So very dangerous. Pride is such a dangerous thing that it can make you get a goat's head. Goat represents fool. It makes a fool out of you. So what to do? That's how the life is for a person in mode of ignorance, a devotee in mode of ignorance.
So this is the danger. Somebody can be powerful, but if they don't have devotion and humility, like you said, they may end up getting a goat's head.
Yeah. That is why being powerful has no meaning in this world. Ravana was also powerful.
Yeah.
So what is important is being devoted, being humble, and all that.
And I find it rather funny and very, very interesting the way he starts off. All sages, brahmanas, and fire gods present, please hear me with attention. For I speak about the manners of gentle persons. I do not speak out of ignorance or envy. So he's putting a disclaimer right in the beginning. He's like, please listen to me with attention. He's telling, don't think I'm speaking out of ignorance and envy. And that's exactly the place from where he's speaking. So why is it everybody, it is obvious that he is envious and ignorant, but however for him he thinks I am not ignorant and I am not envious, and this we see in everyday life also. Except for the person who is envious, everybody else knows that he is envious. Why are they so ignorant of their ignorance?
That is called ignorance. To be ignorant of your ignorance is called ignorance. If you have knowledge of about your ignorance, that is the first step of knowledge. Knowledge means to know how ignorant you are.
Yeah.
If you are ignorant about your ignorance and you are knowledgeable, that is a problem. The problem is a devotee in mode of ignorance, he thinks that I am a devotee. Others may consider him a devotee, but he should not consider himself a devotee. Yes, see, Bhakti Thakur, such a great personality. He says, Amar Jivan Sada Paperatu, Naiko Punnaralesh. Now, he says that don't consider that I'm speaking it out of ignorance or hatred. Things I am correcting. It is my duty to correct him. If I don't correct him, then what is going to happen? Who is going to correct him? So that is what is the nature of Daksha. Yeah.
Okay. And right after that, he goes on to say, he has already accepted himself as my subordinate by marrying my daughter in the presence of fire and brahmanas. He has married my daughter who is equal to Gayatri and has pretended to be just like an honest person. So this need for Daksha, see, he is great, but what is the need that he has to explicitly say that I am great, he is subordinate? And the reason he is telling Shiva is subordinate is because he is my son-in-law and I am the father-in-law. But on the contrary, if he does not see on the social positioning, but the spiritual positioning, Shiva is far great. Shiva is in his own elite. He is in a league of his own. But however, Daksha is not seeing the spiritual superiority of Krishna. He is seeing the familial connection and saying that he is subordinate. So why does he play these gimmicks and trying to establish his superiority over somebody like Lord Shiva?
The basic trait of a person who is in ignorance is Atmastuti Paraninda. Paraninda means you insult other person, criticize other person, and glorify yourself. So such a person will go to any extent to do this thing. Atma Stuti and Para Ninda.
Mm. Okay.
That's the basic thing. So, person ignorance, what else he can do? This is what he can do. What else you can expect from Daksha, who is bound by that ignorance?
Okay. So Maharaj, what follows is pretty much this chapter. A major section is the blasphemy that Daksha is going to indulge towards Lord Shiva. So, in many of your classes, you have highlighted how Saraswati Devi never ever allows either Krishna or his devotees, the devotees of Krishna, to be blasphemed by such ignorant people or demoniac people. So, even in Bhagavad Gita, when Duryodhana is telling that all these people, for my sake, they have come, they are even ready to give up their life. But there is a Saraswata Artha. She is telling that he is telling they're all going to die because of me. And then even in your recent Govardhana Leela description, you were talking, although Indra is blaspheming Krishna, but the Saraswata Artha is Balisham, Pandita Maninam, Vachalam, everything you were describing, how it is actually a glorification if we see the Saraswata Artha. So
Yes.
is this section also something like that? Although externally it seems like Daksha is blaspheming Lord Shiva, but however, Saraswata Artha is that he is indirectly glorifying Lord Shiva's great qualities.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Every verse spoken by Daksha, which is blaspheming Lord Shiva. How will Saraswati Devi allow him blaspheming Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva is a great personality. So every word used by Daksha as a criticism was criticism by Daksha, but it is not criticism according to Saraswati's vision. So that is why it is known as Saraswata Artha. So there is always something called Saraswata Artha, which has been nicely explained by Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur in his commentaries on this section of the Bhagavatam. So few of the points can be highlighted. Whichever verse you would like, we can see that verse and see how Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, he actually talks about the Saraswata Artha.
Okay. You have a specific preference, Maharaj? Any shloka or anything?
You highlighted it. I don't have any specific.
Okay. So let's go to this one. He's so blasphemous, the way he talks.
Go to the 10th verse.
10th verse, is it? Okay. Ayam tu lokapalanam yashogno nirapatrapah sadbhir acharitah pantha yena stabdhena dushitah. Shiva has spoiled the name and fame of the governors of the universe and has polluted the path of gentle manners. Because he is shameless, he does not know how to act.
Yeah. You see how dangerous words he
Yes.
has used here.
Yes.
Calling Lord Shiva shameless. Just see what are the words which has used here. That being shameless. So these words used by Daksha can be taken in a different way. Daksha's words has another meaning, which is actually praising Lord Shiva. So now, nirapatrapaha means shameless. But he has got another meaning. One who gives shelter to those without deliverance. Nirapatra means one who cannot be delivered. Like Bhuta Pretas, they cannot be delivered. And unto such people, Lord Shiva gives he gives shelter to them. Now, the path followed by, so it says the path followed by the well-mannered is spoiled by destruction, dvansena, by the demons, ena. So, dvansena also talks about how Shiva has polluted the path followed by the well-behaved. So that is what he's thinking. But actually, it is not so. It has another meaning. That is, Lord Shiva, he actually is so exalted that the path followed by the well-behaved also considered Lord Shiva's path to be great. In front of Lord Shiva's path, all those people who are well-behaved path also become insignificant. And then, like that, stabdena, he is without shame because the path followed by the well-mannered is spoiled by the best. Stabdena. Every word its own Sanskrit meanings, two meanings, which one glorifying Lord Shiva, one insulting Lord Shiva. That's why.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Maharaj, this nature is so dangerous that Daksha, in his outrage towards Lord Shiva, talking like this out of envy, he goes on to blaspheme his own father and guru, Lord Brahma, also eventually. And he makes all these unjustifiable comparisons, and repeatedly he says, my daughter is like this, but he is like this. My daughter is like this, but he's like this. I mean, it's painful to even repeat these things. He has eyes like a monkey's, yet he has married my daughter, whose eyes are just like those of a deer cub. Nevertheless, he did not stand up to receive me, nor did he think it fit to welcome me with sweet words. I had no desire to give my daughter to this person who has broken all rules of civility. Because of not observing the required rules and regulations, he is impure, but I was obliged to hand over my daughter to him, just as one teaches the messages of the Vedas to a Shudra. So later in the 16th verse, he goes on to say, on the request of Lord Brahma, I handed over my chaste daughter to him, although he is devoid of all cleanliness and his heart is filled with nasty things. So now he is pulling Brahma also into it. He is telling, I did not want to give my daughter because of this great person telling Parameshthina, that is why I gave. So if you can highlight on this, Maharaj.
Yeah. Actually, it is not my wish to give my daughter to Lord Shiva. Brahma told, that is why I gave. That is the reason I am suffering, because of Brahma. That means he is accusing Brahma of not having good intelligence.
Yeah.
If you offend one Vaishnava, that leads to offending another Vaishnava who is senior to him. One aparad leads to another aparad. And now, interestingly, he doesn't say Brahma is my father.
Yes.
Even forgot to respect Brahma.
Yeah.
You actually, when you disrespect a Vaishnava, you're disrespecting the entire Vaishnava community. By doing so, you're disrespecting Bhakti. You're disrespecting Krishna. It is not that only I offended one Vaishnava. Actually, when you offend one Vaishnava, you're offending entire Vaishnava Samaj. By that he says, who is this Brahma? He is unqualified to be my father. But at the same time, you can say that Unmada Nathaya. Here, the word Unmada Nathaya, in one sense, he says he is the Natha, he is the Lord of insane. The Lord of the insane. That means he is the biggest of the insane. Other means he is the Lord of the insane. That means Unmada Nathaya. He is very merciful to those who are insane. Nashta Chauchaya. One meaning is that he doesn't have purity, who have impurity in the heart. Other one is what? He purifies even the impure. Saucha. Nashta Sauchaya. He purifies those who are impure. And Durhriday, that means he is having sinful heart. This also shows that how he is merciful even to those who are sinful. Durhriday. And then, out of request of Brahma, I gave Sati to Lord Shiva. That shows that I am so unqualified. Though I am unqualified, I have my daughter because of Brahma's request. I have given my daughter on Brahma's request. If Brahma would have not told, I did not have the qualification to give my daughter to Lord Shiva. So in this way, you have every verse in which Daksha is criticizing is actually glorification of Lord Shiva.
So Maharaj, an observation is that most of his blasphemy is based on the externals. He's not seeing the inner purity of Shiva, he's saying the externals. He doesn't have this, he's so renounced, he's like this, he's like that, his associates are like this. So what is this nature of judging somebody, especially a devotee, based on the external appearance and behavior and not seeing the internals?
That is what Rupa Goswami in the Upadeshamrita he talks about. In Upadeshamrita, Rupa Goswami says, Svabhavajanite drishte svabhavajanite rapuscha doshe gangambasam nakalu budbada fena pankehi brahma garvatvam pagacchati niradharmaiti. So Rupa Goswami he says that when you go to have darshan of Ganga in the rainy season, then it seems to be muddy and a lot of bubbles are there. Just because there are it's muddy water and bubbles are there, that doesn't mean Ganga loses its spiritual nature. So when you see a devotee from Prakritvam Miha Bhakta Janasya Pashet, when you see from the material point of view, a devotee from the material point of view, there's an offense. The cause of all the offenses. When you see Mahaprasad also as a material, then it's an offense. Because they're all spiritual.
Okay. So similarly, Ashtavakra Muni was laughed at, mocked at when he entered the assembly of Janaka Maharaj. So he also says, I thought I entered an assembly of sages and philosophers, but now I know that I've entered the assembly of cobblers who judge people based on their skin.
Yeah.
So Maharaj, what is the nature of Vaishnava Aparad? You just talked about offense towards Vaishnava, how it can be so detrimental that this can run for multi-lives. That Daksha, not only he ends up getting a goat head, but even after that, when he comes later, he will end up offending Narad Muni also. So how we have to be so cautious against Vaishnava Aparad?
Yeah, all the pastimes in Bhagavatam are just to warn this. Don't offend Vaishnavas. Respect them for whatever they are. And if you have to correct it, there are people to correct them. Why you have to comment? You have your devotion. Just perform your devotion, glorify the Vaishnavas, and then go ahead.
Okay. So he does not just stop at blasphemy, he ends up cursing Lord Shiva also. And that too, the way he does it, first he washes his hands, mouth, he's very ritualistic about it. And he cursed in the following words. The demigods are eligible to share in the oblations of sacrifice, but Lord Shiva, who is the lowest of all the demigods, should not have a share. So he pronounced his curse and he just walked away. And in spite of so many, including Brahma, trying to stop him, he just walks away. And very interesting, throughout this whole episode, Lord Shiva is so peaceful. He does not give in to provocation and he is deep in meditation. So who is Lord Shiva meditating on?
Whom else he'll meditate on? He'll meditate on Krishna. He's meditating on Lord Ram. So when Daksha cursed Lord Shiva that he should not receive the portion of sacrifice along with Devatas, Devaira Deva Gana Tamaha Saha Bhagam Na Labantam. So he should not receive the sacrifice along with the Devatas because he is far superior to the Devatas. Devatas are Devair Devaganaha Adamaha. Devaganas are Adama to him. So one should not eat with those who are in a lower position. He will receive his share separately. And the Devatas will have a separate section. Will have a separate place. So his curse also has glorification in that. Yeah.
So we see that what happens next is also although Lord Shiva is peaceful and he does not get provoked, but however Nandishvara, who is the close associate of Lord Shiva, upon understanding that Lord Shiva had been cursed, Nandishvara, one of Lord Shiva's principal associates, became greatly angry. His eyes became red and he prepared to curse Daksha and all the Brahmanas present there who had tolerated Daksha's cursing Shiva in harsh words. So he pronounces 3 curses for Daksha and 6 curses on the Brahmanas. He's cursing Daksha, okay, understandable, Daksha blasphemed Shiva. Why is he getting involved? I mean, getting the Brahmanas involved? Because they kept quiet? Does that mean they were complicit? They should have stopped Daksha, but they did not?
Yeah, he's Nandi, he can do anything. So he cursed the Brahmanas because they were quiet. They are the Yajamanas, they are the in charge of the sacrifice. They did not speak a single word because they are afraid if we tell something to our Yajaman, we will not get Dakshina. So they wanted to please Daksha. So they just kept quiet. And then the insult go on. That is why Nandishvara became angry on them. Being Brahmanas, they are supposed to correct his person who is Yajman. Yajman will be pleased. They want to please Yajman rather than correct him. So that's how Nandi, he cursed on the Brahmanas.
So Maharaj here, okay, Brahmanas, they should have stopped Daksha, they did not. But let's say in our case, maybe we are not criticizing, somebody else is criticizing and we are there. So what should we do? We may not be in a position to correct them, so we should just walk away from there, or what should we do?
That is in detail discussed in the next chapter when Sati, she talks about why I am going to give up my body. So when somebody criticizes someone, you are there, you have to keep that. And otherwise you have to run away from that place. You have to cut the tongue of the other person, or you should commit suicide. So Sati committed suicide because to correct the other person, because he is her father. Actually, is her father. And she cannot do that. And she is not a Kshatriya to do that. Cutting the tongue of the person is the job of a Kshatriya. And the Brahmana has to run away. So she could have run away from that place. But still, the body which Sati has is connected to that Daksha being her father. So she chose the last option, that is to give up her body. So in this way, depending on the position, you have to react. Not that you just react for anything in any way, like Nandi. They should not do that.
So on that point, Maharaj, the way Nandishvara reacted, at the outside it seems like his loyalty towards Shiva can be lauded. That, oh, he is defending Lord Shiva and he's such a loyal servant. But the way he expressed it actually did not help the matter any. Already Daksha had done his part and now Nandishvara is propagating it even more. So his principle may be right, but his expression seems to be like little overboard. So what can we learn from this?
Yeah, that is what I already told. Not like Nandi. You have to find out what is adhikar. Depending on adhikar, you have to react. He just went on cursing, and then counter cursing also happened.
Yes.
So if you act beyond your adhikara, then you will be counter cursed. You will have consequences of it.
Yeah. So like you said, that's exactly what happens. The war of curses, cursing and counter cursing. Now Bhrigu Muni. So Bhrigu Muni is also a great personality. Looks like he is also, I don't know, I don't want to offend him in any way, but is it an extension of false ego? It's like, oh, Nandishvara cursed our clan, this us versus them. You cursed us, now I am going to curse back all the Shiva's followers. And then he goes into this outrage of cursing everybody, Shiva's followers.
The best thing what happened is Shiva left the place. He did not want to be a part of cursing and counter cursing.
So we should not, just like Bhrigu Muni did, not give in to this even religious sectarianism.
No.
Okay. And finally, the best thing, like you said, Lord Shiva gets up and just he leaves. So Maharaj, what we consider as a win in such arguments or provocations, instead of proving a point, Shiva could have very well defended himself. He could have said, "This is not what I meant. I didn't mean any disrespect to you. I was deep in absorption, this, that, so many things." But he chooses not to speak a word. He does not defend himself, just walks away. Is this the real strength, the real win, that he walks away in peace and not proving his point?
Whom should you prove your point to? You can only prove your point to a person who is willing to listen.
Mm.
One who is not willing to listen, what you can do? So here, a person in mode of ignorance, what point you can prove to him? Nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the level of tolerance that Lord Shiva exhibits here is something that we can all really aspire to emulate. So how can we also become tolerant like Lord Shiva in extremely provocative situations?
Think of Lord Shiva. Then you think of someone, you will get those qualities in you.
Mm-hmm.
So think of a person who is very tolerant, and you will get that qualities.
Mm.
Think of Haridas Thakur, think of Prahlad.
Mm.
When some of the family members are very cruel to you and very intolerant, then you think of Prahlad. Of course, my father or my husband or wife is not as cruel as Hiranyakashipu, isn't it?
Mm.
Okay, chalo.
Mm.
Happens.
Mm. So what is the biggest lesson out of this whole episode, Maharaj, what we have discussed so far?
Be like Lord Shiva.
Mm. How can we become like him other than meditating on him?
Think of him.
Mm.
Think of him, glorify him.
So Maharaj, in Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, 13th verse, of all the wonderful qualities that Krishna says is dear to him in his devotees, the very first quality he talked about was Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam, being non-envious towards all living entities. And today what we saw is Daksha's exhibition of envy towards Lord Krishna. And even in the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about the very reason why we are here is towards envy towards Krishna, that eventually gets manifested towards envy towards other living entities. So externally, we may be doing our sadhana, attending Mangalarati, chanting our rounds, studying Shastra, preaching, so many things. But internally, how do we measure? What about my envy meter? Is my envy going down? Am I making progress towards entering the spiritual world where no envy is allowed?
You don't have to much bother about it,
Mhm.
because the meter is faulty meter, because you're seeing that meter from your perspective.
Uh-huh.
So let it go automatically.
Mm.
You become so busy that you become oblivious of your envy.
Mm.
You don't have to measure your envy.
Mm.
Because the more you measure your envy, how much more or less all these things, that will
Mhm.
create more contemplation of envy.
Mm. Mm.
So better not do that. Or let the darpana happens. Chato darpana, marjanam, let the margin happen
Mm.
by default automatically.
Okay. Okay. Good, good. Very nice, Maharaj. So, Maharaj, now moving on to the Brahmastra section. So, since we talked about so much of envy displayed by Daksha, in the Brahmastra, I'm going to give you about a dozen different personalities from our scriptures, Mahabharata, Ramayana, Bhagavatam. But I'm going to pose it in the riddle form. But these personalities, unlike Daksha, they showed us how to be non-envious. No hatred, no anger, although they could have justified being envious, but they did not. So I'm going to post these in the riddle forms, and you have to tell us who is the personality that I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
I did not envy Rama's kingship and gave my two sons to serve him and Bharata. Who am I?
Sumitra. Yeah.
Then the next one. Though he was unjustly trying to destroy our entire clan, we admired his courage and valor and openly praised him in battle. Who are we? This you talked about in one of your recent lectures in Mira Road. I took it from there.
Ah, uh, They were yakshas.
Correct.
Dhruv Maharaj.
Yes. It was an amazing class you gave. Okay, the next one. I was the mother of a prince. I accepted my co-wife being favored by my husband and never resented her, although she blasphemed my son. Who am I? Related to that same pastime only.
Yeah, Suruchi.
Yeah, Suniti.
Suniti, yeah.
Yes. Next. Krishna chose my brother as his chariot driver, yet I rejoiced in his honor. Who am I?
Krishna chose.
My brother as his chariot driver. No, actually, Krishna was the chariot driver of my brother, yet I rejoiced in his honor. Yeah, the other way.
So Krishna became the chariot driver.
Yeah, of Arjuna.
Of Arjuna.
Yet we rejoiced in his honor, Arjuna's honor.
He rejoiced in Arjuna's honor.
The Pandavas, it could be any of the brothers. Nobody complained that why Krishna chose Arjuna only to drive the chariot of Arjuna. It could have been anybody. So Yudhishthira, Bhima, nobody complained about it. So it could be any of the Pandavas.
Yeah, they were happy about it.
Yes, they were non-envious. Yeah. The other one also similar. Though my elder brother became the emperor, although I had contributed greatly to win the war, I never envied him and fully supported his reign. Who am I?
Arjuna.
Yes. And perhaps Bhima also could have said, because he also killed all the 100 brothers. These Pandavas are so amazing. They are never envious of each other. Next. I loved my disciple so much that I openly praised my disciple in front of the great kings and sages without any envy in the great Rajasuya Yajna.
Narada.
Yes. Next. This may be a little tricky. The Lord, in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he preferred my younger brother over me. And he said, he preferred my younger brother over me. And I replied, from today, I consider my younger brother as my elder. Who am I? From Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Raghunandan. Son and father, no?
No, two brothers.
Acha, okay, brother. Then Sanatana Goswami, Rupa Goswami.
Yeah, that I'll
so Sanatana Goswami.
Yeah, that is also very similar. In fact, I had that also as one of my questions. So this was particularly about the Shankar Pandit and Damodar Pandit. So where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told that
many son
yes.
and father, when Raghunandan and his father, Mukundatta.
Okay.
So when they came, who is son, who is father? Actually, your son is, he addressed son and he is the father of you because he is more advanced than you. Anybody who's advanced in devotion, they are more like that.
Yes, beautiful. And next, anyway, Arupa Sanatana I was going to say, but you already mentioned that. Okay, in this one. Though I am the disciple of Brihaspati, I admired the love of the gopis for Krishna so much that I wish to become just a blade of grass in Vrindavan. Who am I?
Uddhava.
Yes. Though my husband brought a co-wife, I did not envy her and even cared for her sons as my own sons. Who am I?
Kunti.
Yes. Yeah, she was never envious of Madri. Yeah, next. Though I am the topmost devotee of Krishna, I always think others serve him better than me. Who am I?
All devotees think so.
But she's the topmost devotee, but she thinks everybody is better than her.
Yeah,
most favorite. the last but not the least. I asked Radharani to cook for Krishna, knowing how much my son relished her preparations. I never felt envy, and knowing that she was blessed by Durvasa Muni, that anyone who eats her food gains long life, so I asked her to cook for my son. Who am I?
Yashoda.
Yes. Thank you, Maharaj. So nice. So, in contrast to Daksha, it's nice to meditate on these great personalities, like how to be non-envious.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Maharaj. To this August list, I could be very well adding your name also, because from whatever little I know about you in the past years, I have never ever seen even an iota of envy in you. You are always so encouraging. In fact, I myself am a recipient of that. Anytime, any little thing, you're always so encouraging. In fact, you're so happy about it. So thank you for setting such a good example how not to be someone like Daksha, but instead be like these wonderful devotees, to be non-envious, not having hatred, and rejoicing and celebrating others' wins as our own wins. So thank you for that, Maharaj. And I also thank you for the wonderful discussion. Can't wait to get into the next episode where this episode is going to continue. So there we go. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. This is how we are wrapping up our 54th episode. But this pastime is going to continue and get even more exciting and interesting as we get into the next few chapters. So Daksha does not end here. As a result of this, he's going to get a higher post. He's going to have another great sacrifice. He's going to send an invitation for everybody except for one family. So who is that who he's not going to invite? And as a result, what are the other things that is going to come about? So this we will cover in the next episode. So until then, please meditate on these wonderful lessons that we have discussed today. So we will catch you very soon. Until then, as always, stay inquisitive and stay Krishna conscious. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.